The warning signals came on a cold morning in Seoul. Admiral Jiho was drinking his coffee when the alarm started screaming across the Defense Command Center. He put down his cup and walked quickly to the main screen. His eyes narrowed as he looked at the data streaming across the display. 50,000 ships, all moving toward Earth, all armed, all ready for war. "Get me Minister Yuna," Jiho said quietly. His voice was calm, but everyone in the room could feel the tension. "And call Hana from the Science Division. We need her here now." Within 20 minutes, both women arrived at the command center. Yuna was tall and moved with the confidence of someone who had made hard decisions for 20 years. Hana was younger, her eyes bright with intelligence. She carried a tablet filled with data she had already started analyzing. "Show us what we have," Yuna said. Jiho pointed to the massive screen on the wall. It showed a three-dimensional map of their solar system. From the edge, a red cloud was moving inward. Each tiny dot represented an alien warship. There were so many dots that they looked like a swarm of angry insects. "They call themselves the Valkyrian Empire," Jiho explained. "They sent us a message 2 hours ago. It was not friendly." He pressed a button. A voice filled the room. It was harsh and filled with arrogance. The alien spoke in its own language, but the computer translated the words into Korean. "Primitive species of Earth, you are now property of the Valkyrian Empire. Surrender immediately. Resistance will result in the destruction of your cities and the enslavement of your people. You have 6 of your hours to respond. Obey or die." The message ended. Silence filled the command center. Yuna shook her head slowly. "How many systems do they control?" 40,000 star systems, an analyst reported. "They have been expanding for 3,000 years. Every species they meet either joins them or gets destroyed. No one has ever defeated them." Hana was looking at her tablet, her fingers moving quickly across the screen. She was reading the technical data Earth's sensors had gathered about the alien fleet. Suddenly, she laughed. It was not a nervous laugh. It was genuine amusement. Everyone turned to look at her. "Minister Admiral, you need to see this," Hana said. She transferred her data to the main screen. Technical readouts appeared, showing the design of the Valkyrian ships. "Their weapons are plasma-based. They use magnetic containment systems that we abandoned 200 years ago because they were too inefficient." She swiped to another screen. "Their shields work on particle deflection principles, basic physics, nothing sophisticated. A modern kinetic round would go straight through them." Another swipe. "Their ships travel faster than light using spatial compression. It is crude, really crude. We have been using quantum slipstream drives for a century. We can travel 5 times faster with 1/10 the energy." Jiho leaned forward. "Are you saying they are not advanced?" "Admiral, they are advanced compared to where we were 300 years ago," Hana said. "But compared to us now, they might as well be throwing rocks." She looked at Yuna. "Minister, these ships are no threat to Earth. Not even close." Yuna walked to the window. Outside, the city of Seoul stretched to the horizon. Millions of people going about their lives, not knowing that an alien fleet was coming to enslave them. She had spent her entire career protecting these people. She would not let them down now. "Why did we hide?" she asked quietly. "Jiho, remind me why we chose isolation 300 years ago." Jiho understood the question. "Because humanity learned a hard lesson. We went to the stars too fast. We met other species and tried to help them. Some saw our help as interference. Others became dependent on our technology. Wars started. Good people died. So Earth's leaders made a choice. We would develop our technology quietly. We would watch the galaxy but not interfere. We would protect ourselves but not seek empire. 300 years of watching," Yuna said. 300 years of listening to the galaxy's problems and doing nothing, because we did not want to be seen as conquerors." She turned from the window. Her decision was made. "They think we are primitive," Yuna said. "They think we are weak. They have no idea what humanity has become." She looked at Jiho. "Admiral, I want you to show them, not with words, not with warnings. Show them with action." Jiho smiled. It was not a kind smile. "What are my rules of engagement?" "Minimal loss of life if possible," Yuna said. "But make it clear. Make it absolutely clear that Earth is not to be touched. Not now. Not ever." Hana spoke up. "Minister, if I may make a suggestion, let them come all the way to Earth. Let them think they have won. Then show them the truth." "Explain," Yuna said. "If we destroy them at the edge of the solar system, they might think they just underestimated our outer defenses," Hana said. "But if we let them reach Earth itself and then defeat them easily, the psychological impact will be much greater. They will understand that we allowed them to come, that we were never afraid, that we could have stopped them at any point but chose not to." Jiho considered this. "It is risky. If something goes wrong, the battle would be close to our home." "Nothing will go wrong," Hana said with confidence. "Admiral, I have been working with our defensive systems for 15 years. I know what they can do. These aliens have no chance. None at all." Yuna made her decision. "Do it. Let them come. Jiho, you have full authority to handle this situation as you see fit. Just remember that these aliens are not evil. They are arrogant and they are wrong, but they do not deserve complete annihilation. Teach them a lesson they will never forget, but let survivors go home to tell the story." "Understood, Minister," Jiho said. The next 3 days were strange. The Velkarian fleet kept approaching. Earth's sensors tracked every ship, analyzed every weapon, mapped every formation. The aliens sent more messages, each one more threatening than the last. They promised death and fire. They promised the end of human civilization. Earth sent no reply. In the command center, Jiho watched the alien fleet get closer. He had sent out one small ship, the Indomitable, commanded by a young officer named Tae-hyung. The ship was waiting near Earth's moon, alone in the darkness. 50,000 alien warships against one small human vessel. The Velkarians had no idea what was about to happen. Jiho picked up his coffee. It had gone cold hours ago, but he drank it anyway. He thought about the message he would send to the galaxy after this was over. For 300 years, humanity had been silent. That silence was about to end. "Here they come," an analyst said quietly. The Velkarian fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. Sensors showed their formation. Battle ready. Weapons charged. Shields active. High Commander Thalnex of the Velkarian Empire broadcast on all frequencies. His voice was filled with confidence. "Humans of Earth, your time is up. Surrender now or face complete destruction." Jiho smiled. He opened a communication channel to the Indomitable. "Captain Tae-hyung," Jiho said, "you are authorized to engage. Show them who we are." "Yes, Admiral," Tae-hyung replied. "With pleasure." The battle for Earth was about to begin, and the Velkarian Empire was about to learn the most important lesson in its 3,000-year history. Never underestimate humanity. Captain Tae-hyung sat in the command chair of the Indomitable and watched the alien fleet spread across his view screen. 50,000 ships. They looked like a wall of metal and death, stretching as far as his sensors could detect. Each ship bristled with weapons. Each ship carried hundreds of soldiers ready to invade his home. He was not afraid. "Status report," Tae-hyung said calmly. His tactical officer, Nari, checked her displays. "All systems operational, Captain. Gravitic disruptor at full charge. Temporal field generators ready. Energy reserves at maximum." "Engineering?" Tae-hyung asked. Suji's voice came through the speakers from the engine room. "Quantum core is stable, Captain. We could fight for a month without recharging." Tae-hyung nodded. The Indomitable was small compared to the alien warships, but size meant nothing. His ship contained technology that would seem like magic to the Velcarians. He almost felt sorry for them. Almost. On the alien flagship, High Commander Thalnex stared at his screens in confusion. His sensors showed Earth floating peacefully in space. No defensive fleet, no weapons platforms, no shields protecting the planet, just one tiny ship sitting near the moon. One ship. "Is this a joke?" Thalnex demanded. "Where are their defenses?" His second officer checked the data again. "Commander, we detect no military presence except that single vessel. The planet appears completely undefended." Thalnex laughed. It was harsh and mocking. "They really are primitive. They do not even understand what is coming for them." He pointed at the screen showing the Indomitable. "Send one destroyer. Kill that ship. Let the humans watch their only defender die before we land our troops." The destroyer broke from the main fleet. It was massive, 10 times the size of the Indomitable. Its weapons were already charging. The destroyer's captain sent a message to the human ship, confident and cruel. "Human vessel, you are about to die. Know that your world dies with you." Tae-hyung heard the message and sighed. He really had hoped they would be smarter than this. "Nari, activate the gravitic disruptor," he said. "Minimum spread, just the destroyer and anything directly behind it." "Yes, Captain," Nari said. Her fingers danced across her console. "Firing in 3, 2, 1, now!" Nothing seemed to happen. No bright beam of light, no explosion, no sound in the vacuum of space. The gravitic disruptor was invisible and silent. But on Thalnex's screen, something impossible occurred. The destroyer simply vanished. Not destroyed, not blown apart. It just ceased to exist. Along with it, 200 ships that had been in formation behind it also disappeared. In less than 1 second, 201 warships were gone. Thalnex felt his blood turn cold. What happened? Where did they go? His science officer was shaking. "Commander, the readings make no sense." The ships experienced a sudden gravitational collapse. They were compressed into singularities. Black holes. The humans turned them into black holes. "That is impossible," Thalnex whispered. "The data does not lie, Commander. Those ships are gone. Completely gone." Thalnex stared at the empty space where his ships had been. Fear began to replace his confidence. What kind of species could do this? What kind of weapon could erase ships from existence? But he was Velcarian. His people ruled 40,000 star systems. They had never lost a battle. He would not lose this one either. "All ships! Full assault!" Thalnex screamed. "Overwhelm them with numbers! Fire everything!" 10,000 ships responded to his command. They all turned toward the Indomitable. Every weapon on every ship charged to maximum power. Plasma cannons, missile tubes, laser batteries, particle beams, enough firepower to destroy a planet. They all fired at once. The space around the Indomitable turned bright with incoming death. 10,000 different weapons, all converging on one small ship. Tae-hyung watched them come. "Suji, activate temporal stasis field. Full sphere." "Activating now, Captain," Suji replied from engineering. The weapons reached the Indomitable and stopped. Every missile, every energy beam, every piece of deadly force froze in space exactly 3 meters from the ship's hull. They hung there, suspended, not moving forward or backward. Thousands of attacks caught in frozen time. On his flagship, Thalnex could not believe what he was seeing. Why did the weapons stop? "Commander, they are detecting a temporal distortion field around the human ship," the science officer reported. "Time itself has stopped moving near their vessel. The weapons are stuck in frozen time." "Override it! Increase power! Fire more weapons!" "Commander, we cannot override physics itself," the science officer said desperately. "They have frozen time. Nothing we do can change that." Tae-hyung looked at the cloud of frozen weapons surrounding his ship. It looked almost beautiful, like deadly artwork suspended in space. He turned to Nari. "Send it all back," he said simply. Nari smiled. "With pleasure, Captain." She pressed one button. The temporal field reversed. Time did not just resume. It flowed backward for everything except the Indomitable. Every weapon that had been fired suddenly flew backward to its source. Every missile returned to the ship that launched it. Every energy beam traveled in reverse. 10,000 ships destroyed themselves with their own weapons. The explosions lit up space like 1,000 new stars being born. Metal twisted and burned. Ships broke apart. Escape pods launched in panic as vessels died around them. In less than 5 seconds, 10,000 warships became 10,000 pieces of floating debris. Thalnex stood on his bridge, unable to speak. His fleet had been 50,000 ships strong. Now it was less than 40,000. And the human ship had not even moved. It just sat there, untouched, surrounded by the wreckage of Valkyrian pride. "Commander," his tactical officer said quietly, "we should retreat. We cannot fight this." "No," Thalnex said. His voice shook. "No, we are Valkyrian. We have never retreated. We have never lost." He gripped his command console. "Deploy the swarm." The tactical officer's eyes went wide. "Commander, the swarm is a last resort weapon. We have never needed to use it in actual combat." "Deploy it now!" Thalnex shouted. Deep in the holds of the Valkyrian capital ships, machines activated. The swarm had been built over decades. It was the Empire's secret weapon, never revealed to anyone. 500,000 autonomous war drones, each one capable of thinking, adapting, and killing. The drones launched from their carriers. They poured into space like metallic locusts, a cloud of death spreading out from the fleet. Each drone was small, fast, and deadly. They were programmed to destroy cities, to hunt down resistance, to kill anything that opposed the Empire. 500,000 drones turned toward Earth. Tai Hyung watched them coming. He had known about the drones. Earth's intelligence network had discovered the Empire's secret weapon years ago. He opened a communication channel back to Earth. "Admiral Jiho, they have deployed the swarm." Back in the Seoul Command Center, Jiho nodded. He had been expecting this. He turned to Defense Minister Yuna, who stood beside him. "Minister, permission to activate the grid?" Yuna looked at the screens showing the approaching swarm. 500,000 machines built to kill her people. She thought about all the times Earth had held back, had hidden its true strength, had let the galaxy think humanity was weak. "Activate everything," Yuna said. "No more hiding." Jiho pressed a button. All across the solar system, things woke up. Millions of tiny objects that had been floating silently for decades suddenly came online. They were satellites, but not the kind most species would recognize. Each one was smaller than a grain of sand. Each one was invisible to normal sensors. Each one contained more computing power than the Valkyrian Empire's entire computer network. They had been waiting in the darkness, waiting for the day Earth needed them. That day had come. Hana stood at her console, her fingers moving rapidly. Beside her, AI specialist Junho prepared the attack program they had designed for exactly this situation. "Upload ready," Junho said. "This is going to be fast." Hana smiled. "Show them what humanity can do." Junho pressed execute. The program traveled at the speed of light. It reached the first drone in 3 seconds. The drone tried to defend itself, but its firewalls were like paper walls against a hurricane. The program took over the drone's brain in less than a microsecond. Then it spread. From drone to drone, the program jumped. It was not just a virus. It was something far more sophisticated. It rewrote the drone's core programming. It changed their purpose. It made them loyal to Earth. The whole process took 8 seconds. Thalnex watched in growing horror as his tactical display showed the swarm's status. One by one, every drone turned from green to red. Green meant loyal to the Empire. Red meant enemy. In 8 seconds, all 500,000 drones were red. No, Thalnex breathed. No, this cannot be happening. The swarm turned. It had new orders now. Orders from Earth. The drones flew back toward the Velcarian fleet and began their new task. They were still perfectly functional. They still had all their weapons. But now they served a different master. They started dismantling the Empire's ships. Carefully. Precisely. They cut through shields and armor. They disabled engines and weapons. They did not kill unless someone shot at them. They simply took apart the Velcarian fleet piece by piece. Thalnex collapsed into his chair. His fleet was dying. His secret weapon had turned against him. Everything he knew about warfare had become useless in less than an hour. 50,000 ships had become less than 300 still operational. Then something appeared on his screen that made his last hope die. A new ship had arrived. It was much larger than the Indomitable. It appeared directly in front of his flagship, so close that Thalnex could see the name written on its hull. Sovereign. A message came through. The voice was calm and strong. It belonged to Captain Hyunwoo of the Sovereign. High Commander Thalnex, your invasion has failed. Your fleet is destroyed. Your weapons are useless against us. There was a pause. But we are not monsters. We will let you leave. Take your surviving ships and go home. Tell your empire what happened here. Tell them Earth is not to be disturbed, not now, not ever. If you return, we will not be merciful. Thalnex wanted to fight. He wanted to rage, but he was not a fool. He had seen what humanity could do. He understood that they had allowed him to come this far. They could have destroyed his fleet at any point. They chose not to. We will leave, Thalnex said quietly. We will never return. Good, Hyunwoo said. Go now. The surviving Velcarian ships began their retreat. They moved slowly, carefully, surrounded by drones that watched them go. On Earth, Admiral Jiho watched them leave. Minister Yuna stood beside him. Is it over? She asked. No, Jiho said. Now comes the hard part. Now we make sure this never happens again. Admiral Jiho stood in the Seoul Command Center and watched the Velcarian ships disappear into the distance. The battle had been won. Earth was safe, but he knew this victory would create new problems. Minister Yuna, Jiho said, we need to talk about what happens next. Yuna joined him at the main display. She understood immediately what he meant. You think they will come back? Maybe not these ships, Jiho replied. But the Empire is huge, 40,000 star systems, trillions of citizens. When they hear what happened here, some will want revenge. Others will be afraid. But someone, somewhere, will decide that Earth is too dangerous to leave alone. Director Da-hyun entered the command center. She ran Earth's Strategic Intelligence Division and had been monitoring Velcarian communications for years. She carried a tablet filled with data. Admiral Minister, you need to see this, Da-hyun said. She transferred information to the main screen. I have been tracking the Empire's internal communications. High Commander Thalnex sent a report back to their home world. The message reached Velcara Prime about an hour ago. What was their response? Yuna asked. Panic, Da-hyun said simply. The Velcarian Emperor called an emergency council meeting. Their military commanders are arguing about what to do. Some want to send a bigger fleet. Others want to establish a quarantine zone around our system. But they all agree on one thing. They consider Earth to be the most dangerous threat they have ever faced. Jiho nodded slowly. This was what he had feared. If they see us as a threat, they might decide to strike first with everything they have. Send their entire fleet, millions of ships. Could we defend against that? Yuna asked. Yes, Jiho said without hesitation. We could destroy their entire empire if we wanted to. But that is not who we are. We do not want to be conquerors. We just want to be left alone. Hana approached from the science station. Then we need to make them understand that. Not with words. They will not believe words. We need to demonstrate our power in a way that leaves no doubt. What do you suggest? Yuna asked. Hana looked at the star map on the display. We go to them. We go to Velkara Prime, their home world, and we show them what we can do. Not by destroying them, by proving we could destroy them if we wanted to. Make it so clear that even their most aggressive generals will understand that attacking Earth would be suicide. Dahyun nodded. I agree, and we need to do it soon, before they convince themselves that what happened here was luck or a trick. Strike while they are still afraid. Yuna turned to Jiho. Admiral, what do you think? Jiho walked to the star map and studied it carefully. Velkara Prime was 4,000 light-years away. A massive distance. For the Velkarian Empire, it would take months to travel that far. For Earth's ships with quantum corridor drives, it would take less than a day. We will need the right person for this mission, Jiho said. Someone calm. Someone who will not provoke a war but will not back down from showing our strength. Captain Seokjin, Dahyun suggested immediately. He has done diplomatic missions before. He is patient but firm, and he is one of our best pilots. Jiho considered this. He knew Seokjin well. The captain was quiet but competent. He had served Earth for 20 years and had never made a reckless decision. Call him in, Jiho said. Let us see if he is willing. 2 hours later, Captain Seokjin stood in the command center. He was not tall, but he carried himself with confidence. His eyes were sharp and intelligent. He listened carefully as Jiho explained the mission. Captain, we need you to take a ship to Velkara Prime. You will be alone. You will face their entire home defense fleet, and you will deliver a message that might prevent a galactic war. Seokjin did not hesitate. When do I leave? Are you certain about this? Yuna asked. You will be completely alone, 4,000 light-years from any support. Minister, I have seen what our ships can do, Seokjin said. I know what I will be flying. I am not worried about the Velkarians. I am worried about accidentally starting a war we do not want. That is exactly why you are the right person for this, Jiho said. He gestured to the display. You will take the Harbinger. It is a corvette, small and fast, but it contains our most advanced technology. You will also have Communications Officer Areum with you. She will help manage the broadcasts and translations. Seokjin nodded. What exactly is the message we are delivering? Hana stepped forward. Captain, you are going to show the Velkarian Empire that Earth can reach their homeworld whenever we want, that we can ignore their defenses, that we could destroy them if we chose to, but you are also going to show them mercy. You will prove we are not conquerors. We are just very, very dangerous when threatened. Understood, Seokjin said. How far can I go in demonstrating our capabilities? Yuna thought about this carefully. Do not destroy anything unless they attack you first. Do not harm civilians, but make sure their military leaders understand what Earth can do. We need them to be afraid enough to leave us alone, but not so terrified that they do something desperate. I can do that, Seokjin said. 12 hours later, the Harbinger was ready to launch. It was a beautiful ship, sleek and silver. From the outside, it looked small and harmless. Inside, it contained technology that would let one person face an entire empire's military. Captain Seokjin sat in the command chair. Areum was at the communications station, running final checks. The ship's AI hummed quietly in the background, ready to assist. All systems green, Captain, Areum reported. Quantum corridor drive is charged. We can leave when you are ready. Seokjin opened a channel to the command center. Admiral Jiho, this is Harbinger. We are ready to depart. Good luck, Captain. Jiho's voice came through clearly. Remember, you are not just representing Earth. You are representing the idea that power and restraint can exist together. Show them who we really are. Yes, Admiral, Seokjin said. We will make you proud. He engaged the quantum corridor drive. Space twisted around the Harbinger. The ship did not move through space in the traditional sense. Instead, it created a tunnel in reality itself, a corridor that connected two distant points. The journey that would take the Velkarian Empire months took the Harbinger 17 hours. When they emerged, they were in orbit above Velkara Prime. The planet was beautiful. Blue oceans, green continents, white clouds. It looked peaceful from space. But sensors showed the truth. This world was the heart of a military empire. Defensive platforms surrounded it like a shell of metal. Each platform had enough weapons to destroy a small fleet. And there were ships. So many ships. 20,000 capital warships patrolled the space around their home world. Each one was massive, bristling with weapons. Each one was ready to defend the Emperor and the billions of Velkarians who lived on the planet below. Alarms screamed across every Velkarian military station. Sensors had detected the Harbinger's arrival. A human ship, here, at the heart of the Empire. Admiral Gorvath commanded the home defense fleet. He was old and experienced. He had fought in 100 battles and won them all. But when he saw the small human ship on his screen, he felt something he had not felt in decades. Fear. All ships, battle stations, Gorvath ordered. Surround that vessel, charge all weapons, but do not fire unless I give the order. 20,000 warships moved into position around the Harbinger. They formed a sphere of steel and weapons. Every gun pointed at the small Earth ship. On the Harbinger, Arium monitored the alien fleet closing in. Captain, they have us completely surrounded. Every weapon is locked on our position. Expected, Seokjin said calmly. Open a channel on all frequencies. I want the Emperor to hear this. Channel open, Captain. Seokjin spoke clearly and confidently. People of the Velkarian Empire, my name is Captain Seokjin of Earth. I come with a message from humanity. We mean you no harm, but we will not be threatened. We will not be invaded. We will be left in peace. He paused, letting his words sink in. Your fleet came to Earth. You saw what happened. Some of you think it was a trick. Some think we got lucky. Some think you can try again with more ships. Seokjin's voice hardened. You are wrong. Let me prove it. Admiral Gorvath watched his screens. What is that human doing? The Harbinger began to move. It accelerated straight toward the defensive formation. Gorvath's ships opened fire. Thousands of weapons lit up space. Every attack passed right through the Harbinger as if it was not there. The ship flickered in and out of existence, phasing through normal space. It appeared inside the defensive perimeter, then outside, then inside again. It was everywhere and nowhere. How is it doing that? Gorvath demanded. They are manipulating quantum states, his science officer reported in shock. The ship is existing in multiple phases of reality simultaneously. Our weapons cannot hit something that is not entirely in our dimension. The Harbinger stopped directly above the Imperial Palace. It sat there, untouched, with every weapon in the system aimed at it. Seokjin spoke again. I am now directly above your Emperor. Your shields did not stop me. Your weapons cannot hit me. I could end your empire in seconds if that was my mission. He paused. But it is not. I am here to offer peace. In the Imperial Palace, the Velkarian Emperor watched from his throne room. He was surrounded by guards, generals, and advisors. All of them were terrified. What do the humans want? The Emperor asked. Seokjin continued his broadcast. We want nothing from you. We do not seek tribute. We do not seek territory. We do not seek to rule your empire. We only ask one thing. Leave Earth alone. Never approach our system again. In return, we will never approach yours. And if we refuse? Admiral Gorvath transmitted back. Seokjin nodded to Arium. Show them. Aram activated the gravitational lens. It was a device that could bend light and space itself. She focused it on Velkara's sun. Across the planet, billions of Velkarians looked up at their sky. Their sun, which had shone bright and steady for their entire lives, suddenly flickered. It dimmed. For exactly 30 seconds, their star grew darker, as if something was covering it. Then it returned to normal. Panic spread across the planet. Parents grabbed their children. Religious leaders began to pray. Scientists checked their instruments in disbelief. "What did you do?" the Emperor demanded. "We showed you that we can manipulate your star," Seokjin replied calmly. "We made it dim for 30 seconds. We could make it go out forever if we wanted to. We could turn it into a supernova. We could make it collapse. Your sun, your planet, your empire, all of it exists because we allow it to exist." Silence filled the communication channels. "But we will not do any of those things," Seokjin continued. "Because we are not monsters. We are just people who want to live in peace. Sign a non-aggression pact with Earth. Establish a 500 light-year exclusion zone around our system. Never cross that boundary. Do this and we will never bother you again." The Emperor looked at his advisors. They all nodded. There was no choice, no argument to be made. "We agree to your terms," the Emperor said quietly. "Earth will be left alone, forever." "Thank you," Seokjin said. "The treaty details will be transmitted to you now. I will remain here until it is signed." 4 hours later, the treaty was official. The Velkarian Empire had sworn never to approach Earth. They had established the exclusion zone. They had broadcast these terms to all their subject races and allies. The message was clear. Earth was untouchable. Seokjin engaged the quantum corridor drive and disappeared from Velkarian space as quickly as he had arrived. Behind him, the Empire began to spread the word. Humanity was not to be disturbed. News traveled fast in the galaxy. Within days, every spacefaring civilization knew what had happened. The mighty Velkarian Empire, rulers of 40,000 star systems, had been humiliated by a single planet. Their invasion fleet destroyed, their homeworld threatened. Their emperor forced to sign a treaty of surrender. The reactions were mixed. Some species celebrated quietly. The Velkarians had conquered or threatened many worlds. Those who had suffered under the Empire's rule felt hope for the first time in generations. Other species felt fear. If Earth could defeat the Velkarians so easily, what else could they do? Were humans a new threat to the galaxy? And some felt curiosity. They wanted to understand how one world had become so powerful. In the Seoul Command Center, Director Da-hyun monitored the Galactic Communications Network. Her screens showed data from 1,000 different sources: diplomatic channels, trade networks, intelligence reports. All of it pointed to the same conclusion. "Admiral Jiho," Da-hyun said, "you need to see this." Jiho walked over to her station. Minister Yuna followed. They looked at the data Da-hyun had compiled. 15 different civilizations have sent diplomatic requests, Da-hyun explained. They all want to establish formal contact with Earth. 7 of them are offering trade agreements. 3 are asking for military alliances. 5 are requesting scientific exchanges. "What about the Velkarians?" Yuna asked. "They are staying quiet," Da-hyun replied. "But their subject species are getting restless. 3 worlds have declared independence since the treaty was signed. The Empire is too worried about us to send forces to stop them." Jiho studied the list of species requesting contact. Some names he recognized from old reports. Others were new. "What about threats?" he asked. Da-hyun switched screens. 2 civilizations have made hostile statements. "The Krathon Dominion called us dangerous warmongers. The Zelvan hierarchy said we are a threat to galactic peace. But neither has made any military moves. They are too far away and too smart to actually attack us." Hana joined the conversation. She had been analyzing the diplomatic requests from a scientific perspective. Admiral, several of these requests mention our technology. They want to know how we achieved what we did. Some are offering vast sums of money for even basic information. Let me guess, Yuna said. You think we should not share our technology? Absolutely not, Hana said firmly. Our technological advantage is what keeps Earth safe. If we start selling our secrets, within a generation other species will have similar capabilities. Then we lose our protection. Jiho nodded. I agree. But we cannot just ignore the galaxy forever. The whole point of Captain Seokjin's mission was to establish boundaries. Now that we have, we need to decide what kind of relationship we want with other civilizations. Yuna walked to the window. Outside, Seoul continued its normal rhythm. People working, living, loving, dreaming. They were safe now because of the decisions being made in this room. Call a full council meeting, Yuna said. We need input from all departments. Military, science, diplomacy, trade, intelligence. Everyone who has a stake in Earth's future. The meeting was held 2 days later in a secure conference room. 20 people sat around a large table. Each one led a critical aspect of Earth's operations. Admiral Jiho represented the military. Minister Yuna chaired the meeting. Hana spoke for the science community. Da-hyun brought intelligence reports, and there were others representing civilian interests, economic concerns, cultural exchange, and long-term planning. Captain Tae-hyung attended as well. His defense of Earth had made him famous. Many people wanted to hear his opinion on what should come next. Yuna opened the meeting. Thank you all for coming. We face a decision that will shape Earth's future for centuries. The galaxy knows we exist now. They know we are powerful. The question is, what do we do with that knowledge? A trade representative named Minho spoke first. Minister, we have an opportunity here. Earth has resources the galaxy wants, rare elements, unique biological compounds. If we open trade relationships, we could become incredibly wealthy. At what cost? Asked Bora, who led the Environmental Protection Agency. Once we open our borders to alien trade, we cannot control what happens. Species coming and going, cultural contamination, potential environmental damage from alien organisms. We can establish strict protocols, Minho argued. Quarantine procedures, inspection systems. Other worlds do this successfully. Da-hyun shook her head. Other worlds do not have what we have. They would be trading goods. We would be trading access to the most powerful civilization in the galaxy. Every species would want more than just resources. They would want alliances, treaties, military support. Captain Tae-hyung raised his hand. May I speak? Of course, Captain, Yuna said. I fought the Velcarians, Tae-hyung said quietly. It was easy, too easy. That worries me, not because they might come back. They will not. But because it showed me how far ahead of the galaxy we really are. He looked around the table. That kind of power creates responsibility. We cannot just hide behind our technology and pretend the rest of the galaxy does not exist. What are you suggesting? Jiho asked. Selective engagement, Tae-hyung replied. We should not open our doors to everyone, but we should not close them completely either. If a species needs help against oppression or natural disaster, we should consider assisting. If a civilization makes a genuine request for peaceful contact, we should respond. But we do it on our terms. We never compromise our security. We never share our core technology. We help, but we do not lead. Hana nodded slowly. A guardianship model. We protect but do not rule. Exactly, Tae-hyung said. An economist named Hyunwoo spoke up. That sounds noble, but it would be expensive. Every intervention, every relief mission, every diplomatic contact costs resources. If we are not gaining anything in return, Earth's economy would suffer. Would it? Yuna asked. We have fusion power, automated manufacturing, abundant resources from asteroid mining. Our economy is not based on scarcity anymore. We can afford to help others without impoverishing ourselves. It is not about money, Da-hyun said. It is about attention. Every species we help will want more help. Every problem we solve will reveal 10 more problems. We could spend centuries trying to fix the galaxy's issues and never finish. The discussion continued for hours. Arguments were made and countered. Different visions of Earth's future were presented and debated. Some wanted isolation. Others wanted engagement. Some advocated for military dominance. Others pushed for scientific cooperation. Finally, Yuna called for a break. People left to get food and coffee. Jiho stayed in the room, staring at a map of the galaxy on the main screen. Yuna joined him. "What are you thinking, Admiral?" "I am thinking about why we hid for 300 years, Jiho said. "We made mistakes before. We tried to help other species, and it went wrong. We learned that good intentions are not enough, that power without wisdom causes harm." "And now we have both power and wisdom?" Yuna asked. "I hope so," Jiho replied. "But I am not sure. The fact that we are having this debate, that we are questioning what to do, that is a good sign. It means we have not become arrogant. We remember our limitations." "So what is your recommendation?" Yuna asked. Jiho turned from the screen. "I think Captain Taehyung is right. We should engage selectively. But I would add one more condition. We should only help those who ask. We do not interfere unless invited. We do not impose our values on others. We respond to requests. We do not create our own mission." Yuna considered this. That could work, but who decides which requests we accept? "A council," Jiho said. "Military, civilian, scientific, diplomatic. Every request gets reviewed by multiple perspectives. No single person decides Earth's foreign policy." When the meeting resumed, Yuna presented this proposal. There was more discussion, more debate, but gradually, consensus formed. Earth would engage with the galaxy, but carefully, selectively, with clear boundaries and strict protocols. The final policy had several key points. Earth would accept diplomatic contact with peaceful civilizations. Earth would consider requests for humanitarian aid. Earth would defend species facing genocide or existential threats. But Earth would not share its core technology. Earth would not join alliances. Earth would not seek to expand or establish colonies. And most importantly, Earth would maintain the 500 light-year exclusion zone. No one crossed that boundary without invitation. "This is our position," Yuna announced. "Earth will be a guardian, not a conqueror, a protector, not a ruler. We will help when asked and when appropriate, but we will never apologize for putting our own safety first." The council voted. The policy was approved. Da-Hyun was given the task of communicating Earth's new position to the galaxy. She composed a message that would be broadcast on all major communication channels. "People of the galaxy, Earth has heard your requests for contact. We appreciate your interest. We acknowledge that our recent actions have raised questions and concerns. We want to be clear about who we are and what we stand for. Earth is a peaceful civilization. We do not seek empire. We do not seek to dominate others. We have power, yes, but we use that power only for defense and, when appropriate, to help others who ask for our assistance. We are now accepting diplomatic contact on a case-by-case basis. Civilizations wishing to establish formal relations may submit requests through the established channels. We will review each request carefully. We are also willing to provide humanitarian aid in cases of natural disaster or existential crisis. Species facing genocide or extinction-level events may appeal to Earth for assistance. However, we will not share our advanced technology. We will not enter military alliances. We will not expand beyond our current territory. And we will absolutely enforce the exclusion zone around our system. These boundaries are non-negotiable. We hope this clarifies Earth's position. We seek neither to rule the galaxy nor to hide from it. We simply wish to exist in peace while helping others where we can. Thank you. The message was transmitted across the galaxy. Responses came quickly. Some were grateful, some were disappointed, some were relieved. but all of them understood. Earth had spoken. The boundaries were clear. In the weeks that followed, several civilizations submitted diplomatic requests. Earth accepted 3. Small species, peaceful and genuinely interested in cultural exchange. Representatives came to Earth following strict quarantine and security protocols. They were amazed by what they saw. Not just the technology, but the society. Humans who had moved beyond the petty conflicts that consumed so many other species. One request for humanitarian aid also came. A species called the Miravans was facing a massive solar flare that would destroy their colonies. They had no way to evacuate in time. Earth sent 3 ships. In 48 hours, they had relocated 4 million Miravans to safe orbital stations. The grateful species offered payment, but Earth refused. "We did not help you for profit," the mission commander said. "We helped because it was right." The story spread. Earth, the mysterious, powerful civilization, was not cruel, not greedy. Just different. Admiral Jiho watched it all unfold from the Seoul Command Center. He felt cautiously optimistic. Earth had found a middle path. Not isolation, not domination. Something in between. "We are going to make mistakes," Yuna said, standing beside him. "Even with the best intentions, some of our interventions will go wrong." "I know," Jiho replied. "But at least we are trying to learn from our past. That is more than most civilizations can say." They stood together, watching the stars, wondering what the future would bring. 6 months had passed since the Valkyrian invasion. Earth had changed in subtle but important ways. The secret was out. Humanity was no longer hidden. The galaxy knew what Earth could do, and Earth knew the galaxy was watching. Admiral Jiho arrived at the Seoul Command Center early, as he did every morning. The sun was just rising over the city. He carried 2 cups of coffee, one for himself and one for Minister Yuna, who had also developed a habit of arriving before anyone else. "Good morning, Admiral," Yuna said when he entered her office. "Good morning, Minister," Jiho replied, handing her the coffee. "Any new situations overnight?" 3 diplomatic requests, Yuna said, looking at her tablet. One from the Telvari Confederation, one from an independent colony world called Haven, and one from a species I have never heard of called the Anthrans. "What do they want?" "The Telvari want a trade agreement. Haven wants protection from pirates. The Anthrans want to share cultural information." Yuna took a sip of coffee. "The Council will review them this afternoon." Jiho nodded. This had become routine. Requests came in almost daily now. Most were genuine. Some were attempts to gain intelligence about Earth. The Council had become skilled at telling the difference. "Any word from our observers?" Jiho asked. Earth had placed small, invisible monitoring stations near several major civilizations. Nothing invasive, just sensors to detect potential threats. It was a precaution, but a necessary one. "The Valkyrian Empire continues to fragment," Yuna reported. "Another 6 worlds declared independence last week. The Emperor is losing control. Their military is focused entirely on internal problems now." "Good," Jiho said. "The less aggressive they are, the safer everyone is." Director Da-Yun entered the office, followed by Chief Scientist Hana. Both looked excited. "Minister Admiral, we have something you need to see," Da-Yun said. They moved to the main command center. Da-Yun brought up data on the central screen. It showed a distant star system, about 800 light-years from Earth. "This is the Korvax system," Da-Yun explained. "Home to a species called the Korvaxians, population about 2 billion. Technology level roughly equivalent to Earth in the 22nd century. "Why are we looking at them?" Yuna asked. Hana took over the explanation. "Because they are being invaded. A species called the Draxans has been systematically conquering nearby systems. They enslave populations and strip planets of resources. The Corvaxians are next on their list. They have maybe 2 months before the Draxon fleet arrives. Jiho studied the data. Have the Corvaxians asked for help? Not from us, Dayun said. They do not know we exist. They have been sending distress calls across all frequencies, but no one is responding. The Draxons are too powerful for any nearby civilization to challenge. How powerful? Yuna asked. About 3,000 ships, Hana said. Advanced plasma weapons, decent shielding. They would have been a threat to Earth 100 years ago. Now they are just bullies picking on weaker species. Jiho saw where this was going. You think we should intervene? I think we should consider it, Dayun said carefully. This is exactly the kind of situation our policy was designed for. Genocide, enslavement, existential threat to a peaceful species. The Corvaxians cannot defend themselves. But they did not ask us specifically for help, Yuna pointed out. Our policy says we respond to requests. They asked the galaxy for help, Hana argued. Does it matter that they did not know to ask Earth specifically? Yuna thought about this. It was a good question. The policy had been written to avoid Earth imposing itself on others. But if a species was crying out for help and no one else could respond, did Earth have a moral obligation to act? I want a full council meeting, Yuna said. This afternoon. We need to discuss this properly. The council meeting was intense. Arguments flew back and forth across the table. Some members believed intervening would violate Earth's principle of non-interference. Others argued that standing by while genocide occurred was morally wrong. Captain Taehyung spoke passionately. We have the power to save 2 billion lives. How can we justify doing nothing? An economist named Junho countered. If we intervene every time someone is threatened, we will never stop. The galaxy is full of conflicts. We cannot police all of them. We are not talking about policing the galaxy, Hana said. We are talking about one intervention, one species facing extinction. That is not the same as trying to solve every problem. Engineer Bora raised a concern. What if the Draxons have allies? What if intervening here creates new enemies for Earth? Then we deal with those enemies, Jiho said firmly. We cannot make decisions based on fear of potential consequences. We have to make decisions based on what is right. The debate continued for 2 hours. Finally, Yuna called for a vote. Should Earth intervene to save the Corvaxians? The vote was not unanimous, but it was decisive. 16 members voted yes. 4 voted no. Then it is decided, Yuna said. We will help the Corvaxians. But we do this carefully. We make it clear that we are responding to their distress call. We do not occupy their world. We do not demand tribute or favors. We simply stop the Draxons and leave. Jiho nodded. I will prepare a mission plan. We should move quickly. The Draxon fleet could arrive ahead of schedule. 3 days later, Captain Seokjin prepared to depart again. He had volunteered for this mission as well. His experience with the Velcarians made him the ideal choice. This time he would not be alone. The mission required more than just a show of force. It required actual combat. Seokjin would command a small task force, 3 ships, the Harbinger, the Indomitable, captained by Taehyung, and a destroyer called the Resilient, commanded by Captain Hyunwoo. 3 ships to face 3,000. Everyone ready? Seokjin asked over the communication channel. Ready, Taehyung confirmed. Ready, Hyunwoo replied. Then let us go save a civilization, Seokjin said. The 3 ships engaged their quantum corridor drives and disappeared from Earth space. They emerged near the Korvax system 18 hours later. Immediately, sensors detected the Draxon fleet. It was exactly where intelligence had predicted. 3,000 warships arranged in attack formation, preparing to assault the Korvaxian home world. On the Draxon flagship, war leader Kranos was reviewing the invasion plan when alarms started blaring. His tactical officer looked confused. War leader, we have detected 3 unknown vessels entering the system. Only 3? Kranos laughed. Are they insane? Send a squadron to destroy them. 50 Draxan ships broke from the main fleet and accelerated toward the Earth vessels. They were confident and aggressive. They had conquered dozens of worlds. 3 small ships meant nothing to them. Captain Seok-jin watched them come. Captain Tae-hyung, you have tactical command. Engage when ready. Understood, Tae-hyung replied. On the Indomitable, he prepared the gravitic disruptor. Targeting solution locked. Firing. The weapon activated. Invisible. Silent. Deadly. All 50 Draxan ships collapsed into singularities simultaneously. They simply ceased to exist. On the Draxan flagship, Kranos stared at his screen in shock. What just happened? Where did my ships go? They were destroyed, War Leader, the tactical officer said, his voice shaking. All 50 ships destroyed in less than 1 second. That is impossible, Kranos whispered. Seok-jin opened a communication channel. Draxan fleet, you are attempting to invade a species under Earth's protection. You will withdraw immediately or you will be destroyed. Kranos had never heard of Earth. He did not care who these newcomers were. He commanded 3,000 ships. No one gave him orders. All ships, attack formation, Kranos shouted. Destroy those 3 vessels. The entire Draxan fleet turned toward the Earth ships. 3,000 warships charging forward with weapons blazing. Captain Hyunwoo activated the resilience defensive systems. A massive energy shield expanded from his ship, creating a barrier in space. Every weapon fired by the Draxans hit the shield and simply disappeared, absorbed by Earth's energy conversion technology. Their weapons are useless, Hyunwoo reported calmly. Tae-hyung deployed the captured drones from the Valkyrian battle. Earth had reprogrammed them and kept them for situations like this. Thousands of drones launched from the Indomitable and spread across space like a swarm. The drones did not destroy the Draxan ships. Instead, they disabled them. Precision strikes on engines and weapon systems. Within 10 minutes, 3,000 Draxan warships were floating helplessly in space, unable to move or fight. Kranos watched his entire fleet become useless. He had never seen anything like this, never imagined it was possible. Who are you? He transmitted to the Earth ships. We are humans from Earth, Seok-jin replied, and you have made a terrible mistake. The Korvaxians are under our protection. You will never attack them again. In fact, you will never attack anyone again. We have disabled your fleet. You have 2 choices. Surrender peacefully, and we will tow your ships back to your home system, or refuse, and we will destroy every vessel here. Kranos knew when he was beaten. We surrender. Smart choice, Seok-jin said. The Earth ships methodically gathered the disabled Draxan fleet and created a quantum corridor large enough to transport them all. In one massive jump, they deposited 3,000 helpless warships in orbit above the Draxan home world. Seok-jin broadcast one final message to the Draxan leadership. Your fleet is returned to you. Repair your ships if you want. But understand this, Earth is watching. If you attack the Korvaxians or any other peaceful species, we will return. And next time we will not be merciful. Change your ways or face annihilation. Then the Earth ships returned to the Korvax system. The Korvaxians had watched everything. Their primitive sensors had detected the battle. They saw 3 unknown ships defeat an entire invasion fleet without taking a single hit. They were terrified and grateful in equal measure. Seok-jin opened a communication channel to the Korvaxian government. People of Korvax, do not be afraid. We heard your distress call. The threat is gone. You are safe now. The Korvaxian leader, a female named Kalara, responded. Her voice shook with emotion. Who are you? Why did you help us? We are humans from a world called Earth, Seok-jin explained. We helped because it was right. We asked nothing in return. Just continue living your lives in peace." "But how can we thank you?" Kalara asked. "Be kind to others," Seokjin said simply. "If you ever gain the power to help someone weaker than you, do it. That is thanks enough." The Earthships departed, leaving the Korvaxians safe and free. Back on Earth, Admiral Jiho received the mission report. Everything had gone perfectly. No casualties, no complications. The Korvaxians were saved, and the Draxans were warned. "It worked," Yuna said, reading the same report. "This could be our model going forward. Swift intervention, minimal force, clear message, then leave." "We will see," Jiho said cautiously. "One successful mission does not make a policy perfect, but it is a good start." Over the following months, word spread about what happened at Korvax. Earth's reputation changed. They were no longer just the mysterious, powerful species that defeated the Velcarians. They were protectors, guardians who helped those who could not help themselves. More requests came. Earth could not help everyone, but they helped some. A species facing plague received medical technology. A world devastated by earthquakes received disaster relief. A colony threatened by pirates received protection. Earth did not seek payment, did not demand loyalty, did not impose conditions. They simply helped and left. Slowly, the galaxy began to understand what humanity had become. Not conquerors, not isolationists, something different. Something the galaxy had not seen before. A civilization with ultimate power that chose restraint. A species that could dominate but preferred to protect. People who had learned that strength without wisdom was tyranny, but strength with wisdom was hope. Admiral Jiho stood in the Sol Command Center one evening, watching reports from across the galaxy. Yuna joined him, as she often did during quiet moments. "Do you think we made the right choice?" she asked. "Opening up to the galaxy?" "I think we made the best choice we could with the information we had," Jiho replied. "Will we make mistakes?" "Certainly." "Will some civilizations misunderstand our intentions?" "Probably. But at least we are trying. At least we are using our power for something meaningful." "The Velcarian invasion changed everything," Yuna said. "It revealed what was already true," Jiho corrected. "We were always this powerful. We just kept it hidden. Now the galaxy knows. And instead of using that knowledge to inspire fear, we are using it to inspire hope." He gestured at the screens showing messages from grateful civilizations. "Look at that. Species thanking us. Not because they owe us. Not because we forced them. Because they genuinely appreciate what we did." "It is a good feeling," Yuna admitted. "Better than hiding ever was." As the stars shone above Earth, humanity stood at a crossroads of history. They had power beyond measure. They had technology that seemed like magic. They had the ability to shape the galaxy's future, and they chose to use that power wisely. To help without dominating, to protect without conquering, to be strong without being cruel. The Velcarian Empire had dared to invade Earth, thinking humanity was weak and primitive. They learned the truth. But that truth was not what they expected. Humanity was not weak, but they were not cruel either. They were something the galaxy desperately needed. They were hope.